Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the J Moore Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, good evening. Oh, forgot my hat wasn't on there. I have to just turn my hat on there for you guys so you guys can see it. Do check out, ladies and gentlemen, believemeachieve.com for more of my great, inspiring creations and lots of amazing content that you guys are not going to want to miss out on. All right, guys, really appreciate you being here with me. Whether it's now at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday night or 5:30 a.m., 2 a.m., 2 p.m., maybe it's perhaps noon or a.m. or p.m., doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate that. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the J Moore Tech Talk Show. It is, when I say great to be with you, it is great to be with you here on Friday. This is May 24, 2024, and I'm very happy and excited to let you know that today is the show from gig workers to cybersecurity. We're on Series 3, and we're on Show 21. Wow. Can you believe that? Quite a bit in this year here of 2024. So let's just dive right in. So we know what happened a while ago with the one state, right? Remember the issue with, I think it was, what was this? Minneapolis. It was actually Minneapolis and the Lyft, let's say Uber battle. And so basically they had talked about leaving Minneapolis, right? But it seems like they're delaying their plans after officials push back the driver pay plan. So the ride-hailing companies Uber and Lyft said they will delay their plan to exit Minneapolis after city officials decided Wednesday, a few weeks back, to push back the start of the driver pay raise. So the council voted unanimously to implement the ordinance on July 1st instead of May 1st. So we'll see what happens. But a similar thing is happening, ladies and gentlemen, in Massachusetts. Only Massachusetts versus Uber and Lyft, gig workers' rights under scrutiny. In fact, they're taking them to court over this. So it's not just an issue of, you can't do this. It's an issue of, well, we're going to fine you guys for what you've done and how you've operated in the past. So that's pretty cool. And I'll let you know that a lot of people are on the fence with all this, right? What is going to happen? What is going to happen? And with Uber and with Lyft, these big companies, they really try to squeeze the people, and they're not even employees. So Uber and Lyft are set to face trial in a U.S. lawsuit by Massachusetts attorney general, alleging the rideshare companies misclassified their drivers as independent contractors rather than more costly employees. And the non-jury trial in Boston comes amid broader legal and political battles in the Democratic-led state and elsewhere nationally over the status of driver for app-based companies whose rise has fueled the U.S. gig worker economy. Now, here's what they say, and not in direct words, but in the terminology. The companies Lyft and Uber say that they are not a transportation company. Again, they say they're not a transportation company. And so that sounds interesting. What are they then? Well, we are a technology company that has an app and connects drivers with riders. If that isn't a crock of you know what, I mean, these companies don't actually write their own software. So I think that's a falsification, right? Uber is not, Lyft is not a software company, right? They're not. And the Uber Technologies, referred to as Uber, is an American multinational transportation company that provides ride-hailing services. It says right there in the description. But yet when we went back and many asked them, what are you doing? And they said, well, no, we are not a transportation company, but they are. They're trying to skate around this. Lyft is an American company offering mobility as a service, ride-hailing vehicles for hire motorized scooters. They don't say anywhere in their description for the company formation that they're a technology company. So this is the biggest crock of BS that you know what, right? All right, and so there are new rules, ladies and gentlemen, a new DOT rule to revolutionize electronic safeties. Yes, so there'll be, there's new rules for EV safety by the DOT for 2029. And so what does this really mean? Well, it's one thing is they're finalizing the safety rule to reduce crashes over what they call the automatic braking, right? And so while manufacturers must make automatic emergency braking, which reduces vehicle and pedestrian crashes, standard in cars and light trucks, making the safety feature standard rather than on a luxury car, like my car already has this and my other two have had it already. I think this is great. And so they're finalizing this, and they will make automatic emergency braking, including pedestrian A and B standard, required by September 2029. And the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration projects in the new standard of the FMV SS number 127 will save at least 360 lives a year and prevent at least 24,000 injuries annually. I mean, that's pretty cool. They call it the AEB, the Automated Emergency Braking System. And basically, the new standard requires that all cars be able to stop and avoid contact with a vehicle in front of them up to 62 miles per hour, and that the system must detect pedestrians in both daylight and darkness. In addition, the standard requires that the system apply brakes automatically up to 90 miles per hour when a collision with a lead vehicle is imminent, and up to 45 miles per hour when a pedestrian is detected. So this is interesting of what's going on. And the other big issue, ladies and gentlemen, that this is going to hopefully address is, when a typical car hits another vehicle that is, let's say, when you hit a car and you're gas powered instead of electric powered, the vehicle will just die, just stop. It'll stall. Well, with electric vehicles, they don't stop. They keep accelerating past at like triple digits, which could kill somebody, if not kill even more people on its exit. So the other plan is to actually save this and make it so that it cuts the acceleration. But there's also something coming out called the Guardian. They call it the Guardian Angel feature in EVs. So the Guardian Angel standard is what they call it, and it's going to be pretty interesting. And they're saying it's going to help save lives. So the thing is, it's basically there to prevent you from doing something you shouldn't be doing. Think of it like a guardian angel that is a chauffeur, and a onboard computer will decide what type of interaction it will make. Now, of course, they will still charge you for things like automatic driving, but if there is a case where the car has to get out of harm's way to prevent you and others from getting injured, it will intervene, and that will be required, ladies and gentlemen, by that 2029, 2030 mark. There's also something called a sleep at the wheel. The MIT team tricked out their Prius with a camera and 4 LiDARs and high-end GPS and the electronics that sense what a driver is doing with the controls. So like the prototypes tooling around Palo Alto, San Francisco, General Motors, and Pittsburgh, Uber, and the car's software uses its sensors to orient itself to a detailed 3D map of its surroundings. And it will track moving objects such as pedestrians, cyclists, etc. And they admit that it's not perfect, but they are working on it. So I think this is a great thing, and it's going to become standard, and you're not going to have to pay a monthly fee to use it. So that is really cool. So another big thing that's happening, non-compete agreements. Non-compete, yes, non-compete agreements are getting, let's say, press now. Why? Well, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, announces a rule banning non-competes. The FTC's final rule will generate over 8,500 new businesses each year, and it raise worker wages, lower health care costs, and boost innovation. So the Federal Trade Commission issued a final rule to promote competition by banning non-competes nationwide, protecting the fundamental freedom of workers to change jobs, increase innovation, and foster new business formation. Now, the thing about non-competes, which has always been, I'm going to say, an issue for, let's say, quite a while, it causes some issue. Like I said, low wages, suppress new ideas, rob the American economy of dynamism, and include for more than 800 new startups that could cause a very, very big problem. So the FTC estimates that the final rule banning non-competes will lead to new business formation. So non-compete is not the same thing as a non-disclosure. I want to be very clear about that. You can't work for a company and then steal their ideas. A non-compete means you can't do the same business. There's a difference. Non-competes are a widespread and often exploitative practice, and they become required by a lot of companies. So the commission found that non-competes tend to negatively affect competitive conditions in labor markets by inhibiting efficient matching between workers and employees. And what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is the commission found that the employers have several alternatives to non-competes that still enable firms to protect their investments. Trade secret laws and non-disclosures, which you're allowed to do, both provide employers and well-established means to protect proprietary and sensitive information. And researchers estimate that over 95% of workers with a non-compete already have an NDA. So just tighten up your non-disclosure agreement and you should be fine. The thing about this is it's changing from non-compete to basically non-disclosure. That's really the change. The final rule basically is stating this, and effective and any suspected violation of the rule can be reported to non-compete at ftc.gov. So this is the thing now, and people say to me, John, are non-competes illegal now? And they issued the rule, ladies and gentlemen, on April 23rd, 2024. The FTC bans employers from using non-compete clauses, but legal challenges still being expected around this. The Federal Trade Commission is working hard to ban it. They're still having some issues. And the final rule will hopefully help. 1 in 5 U.S. workers are bound by non-competes. It will ban for-profit employers from issuing new non-competes to anyone. So if you've had a non-compete, well, then that's still free game. It's free rule. But you can't have somebody sign a non-compete, ladies and gentlemen, if, like right now and going forward, because it's going to be very evident that that'll be happening. All right, I want to move on to something else that's really pretty cool. Does everybody know the Itsy Bitsy Spider? Do you guys know the song or the lyrics to the Itsy Bitsy Spider? So the Itsy Bitsy Spider is probably something you learned a long, long time ago. And it's a traditional nursery rhyme that you probably learned. And it goes like this. The Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Up came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the spout again. So you can also do it with movement. So the Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout. So you touch the thumb on one hand to the index. So you can touch the thumb on one hand to the index finger of the other. Then touch the index finger to the thumb. So you can basically do the Itsy Bitsy, do it over again while lifting your hands. Itsy Bitsy Spider. And then down came the rain and washed the spider out. From a circle of your hand, out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the Itsy Bitsy Spider crawled up the spout again. All right, so we had a little fun with that. The Itsy Bitsy Spider, yeah. I have to tell you that it's pretty amazing that, what we're going to talk about now, and that is the fact about microphones. So I want to talk about microphones. The older microphones use something called basically they use something called pressure. And that's how old mics work. So let's just talk about that for a second. So typical mics will use pressure to, let's say, to bring in sound, okay? And so, this might sound interesting, like things like the Shure SM7B, which I use here for the show, the Rode NT1A, and some other thing about them. The question is, how does a typical microphone work? Let's talk about that for a moment. So microphones basically take sound waves into a microphone transducer, and they output out an analog signal. Some systems will convert that to digital, like ours does. It takes the analog signal, goes into a Focusrite. That's how it works. I would tell you that it's important to understand this. It's pretty cool. I will tell you something else, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that you might not quite understand, but it's amazing in the same breath. And why I say it's amazing in the same breath is that sometimes people don't quite understand how microphones work. Like they just don't get like what makes them work. Does that make sense to everybody? They just don't get what makes them work. And so if you understand what makes them work and what doesn't make them work, I think that could be a really, really interesting thing, right? And so thinking about, how they work and the fact that old microphones, okay, are something that use pressure. So typical microphones, okay, microphones that you see use pressure, okay, to generate sound, okay. The newer type microphones, which are inspired by spiders, and I want to share something with you about spiders. So spiders actually can hear, but they don't hear sounds like we do. So how does a spider hear is probably what you're saying. And what is the range of their hearing? So they can include sounds as low as 80 hertz. 80 hertz, okay, to 130 hertz. And so they don't have ears, but they pick up on sounds. What happens is a spider spins a web from their abdomen. They have like the 6 spinnerets, and it comes up from their glands inside, coming out as a liquid, and then it turning hard, and then it's spinning, pushing that right out, and it has a stickiness to it, so it can trap whatever comes to it. So what happens is when let's say a creature that they want to attack comes into their web, it sticks, and so the spider is able to just eat the insect or what have you. And so the spider is something else pretty unique, because when the spider spins the web, think of it like it's building its own antenna. Think of it like that. And I would tell you that with that, it's important to understand that it's building like this antenna. And so this antenna, think of it like this. They can't hear, but their legs, hairs are so sensitive that when they're touching that web, which they are, they're able to hear a human voice from 7 feet away. So you can see how they're able to just like, just like respond. Even though they can't hear like we can, they can hear through a feeling. And I know you're probably wondering like why and how and all that good stuff. But it's important to know that spiders are influencing a new microphone design. And so the new we call it spider silk. And so it's the future of microphones. Typical microphones work by pressure, like our ears, in response to pressure changes, eardrums, vibrations, and things like that. And then the frequencies send the electrical signals to our brain, and it registers as a sound. Microphones were built to mimic human eardrums, like the vibrations in response to pressure changes. But to make the mics more powerful and sensitive, they need to be larger. And that's a little incompatible with the general desire for small and more transparent and transportable technology. So what are they doing now? Well, spiders are less affected by changes in air pressure. Instead, they vibrate in the airflow created by a sound wave, allowing them to hear by feeling that motion and even pinpointing the direction of the noise. That is like so amazing. And so what they're going to do is start working on microphone designs now that are going to be basically designed to pick up sound like a spider does. Then, of course, send that back so it'll be transcoded into an electronic signal that we can use. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is a very, very amazing, amazing thing. And I'm excited to see where that's going to go. I mean, excited is probably not even the biggest word. I am really looking forward to that. That's going to be something that I feel is going to be so amazing that a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh. So the question is, where can I buy a spider type microphone? Well, so spider microphones are still they're still kind of in production. So we have spider things like little things you can put around the mics, but they're still working on pressure. Okay, and so spider silk microphones are still on the rise. They're not out yet, but we could see them very, very soon. And it might actually get rid of things like background noise and other reverberations and things like that. Maybe we won't need a pop filter. So there could be a lot of differences for all that. I can tell you that this is pretty amazing. Okay. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's pretty amazing about what's going on. And this, what's going on right now, is something that is so, so powerful. I will tell you that this will transform the way we record our voice. Okay? It really will. I mean, it's really it's really a big challenge, and I see right now that people are going to like this new technology. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is going to be like a major radical change for everyone. All right. And who knew? We can learn a lot from animals. This is what I've learned in, doing motivation and all kinds of keynote speaking. I never knew many years ago that we can get so much inspiration from nature, not just the fact of creativity and stuff like that, but now going back for my master's and just knowing that everything about technology comes from nature. Like, let me see if I can give you an idea. So many tech concepts, okay, are inspired from nature. Let me give you a real simple one. A big one is Velcro. It's one of the best known examples of biomimicry. You hook-like structure of burdock burrs allows seed pods to stick to dog's fur, right? Self-cleaning paint. Lotus plants are known for their adequate beauty and a symbol of longevity in some cultures. And the lotus plant's leaves repel dirt and water so well that this self-cleaning quality was dubbed the lotus effect. We have camouflage, we had adhesive climbing gear, but it all comes after nature, right? Bullet trains, known for its aerodynamic shape that decreases the amount of sound the train makes while entering and exiting tunnels at speeds of 150, 200 miles per hour. So architecture that's self-cool. So there's lots of them. Needles, for example. An annual flu shot, if you get those, might take comfort in a super tiny needle inspired by the anatomy of the mosquito. The insects can quickly penetrate its target skin very easily and quickly. So you can see we've learned a lot, and there are dozens and dozens more. But this tells me that if we really pay attention to nature, we'll be able to unlock and create things that we didn't even know were possible. All right, guys. So Reddit's award system, well, it was a disaster. Yes, Reddit's award system was a disaster. And they bring back their old award system because it was such a mess. And it's reintroducing a revised version of the award system it phased out last year after acknowledging the golden upvote system had basically missed the mark. Quote unquote, they said, "We tried something new. It wasn't great. You called it." Quote, Reddit said in its announcement posted just recently. And so we're relaunching awards, not so new, but definitely improved. Rollout starts soon on Reddit and Reddit iOS and Android apps. I think so many people want things new, but they don't realize that if something works, let's not throw away the entire wheel. If the wheel works, why build a whole new wheel? Let's build upon the wheel. I think that's all we're trying to say about that. And Google chooses a judge over a jury in the upcoming antitrust case. So why does Google want a judge instead of a jury? Why? Well, this is very, very interesting. Google is asking that a federal judge rather than a jury decide whether it violated the U.S. antitrust laws by building a monopoly on the technology that powers online advertising. I've just lost so much respect for Google. I got to just tell you. The tech giant wrote a multi-million-dollar check to the U.S. government that it says renders moot the government's best argument for demanding a jury trial. The antitrust case set to go before a jury in Alexandria, Virginia, in September coming up is one of the two major lawsuits in the Justice Department has brought against Google. And while the Virginia case focuses on advertising technology, an ongoing case in the District of Columbia focuses on Google's dominance as a search engine. Yeah, I don't really like that either. I think sometimes they miss the mark. So Google wants a judge to decide the merits of the case in Virginia as well. The company argues in court papers filed recently that it's unprecedented for a jury to decide a federal antitrust case brought by the government. It says that this case in particular involves, quote unquote, a complicated, intricate technology ecosystem, which the DOJ, Department of Justice, has acknowledged to this court is highly technical, often abstract, and outside the everyday knowledge of most prospective jurors. The right to a jury trial based in the Bill of Rights protects citizens, quote unquote, against the federal government, not the other way around. Google's lawyers write in their court filings, and the companies acknowledges in court papers that the Justice Department has a stronger argument for demanding a jury in a case where it seeks monetary damages. So the question you're probably asking is, so why would you not want a judge instead of a jury? So jurors have more compassion than judges. With a trial by jury, you can use emotional arguments to your advantage, as jurors are more susceptible to being influenced by the personnel. Advantage to trial by judge is, as a self-represented party, you are almost always better off trying your case before a judge than a jury. By not going before a jury, you do not have to worry about the following: preparing jury instructions and things like that. So I think they're just trying to move this through quickly, and they're trying to, just hopefully, let's say, hit the judge up and figuring that they can, as opposed to worrying that they can't hit other people. That could be a serious problem. And here's an interesting one. Drugs. Yes, drugs smuggled over, was it Nigeria, by drone. This is like, it's across the Nigerian River. A smuggling operation used drones to fly drugs across the Nigeria River from Canada into upstate New York, and using a newly purchased $630,000 house that they retrieved along the river as a drop point. And this was all per a criminal complaint that was unleashed just recently. A person has pleaded guilty, and two other face charges after investigation that started September 2022, and the U.S. Border Patrol agents tracked a drone through an overnight excursion from an upscale neighborhood on the U.S. side of the border to the vicinity of the Ontario Winery and back. On return trip to the house in Youngstown, New York, a package hung from the drone's chassis. According to a court filing, law enforcement officers were in place as the drone hovered in the backyard before landing near the suspects. The package was found to contain, guess what, about 6.5 pounds, 3 kilograms of the drug MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy, and investigators did the research. So a search of the house turned up numerous drones and controllers, but almost no furniture except for mattresses on the floor. The data from the drones indicated that there had been 5 cross-border flights prior to the September 2022 flight. First occurred in May 2022, a month after the home was purchased in the home name of one of the suspect's relatives. And the Nigeria River is around 1,800 feet wide. So now we've got an issue. They face trial. This is really, really bad. The 3 suspects that are responsible. So basically, drug smuggled over Nigeria drone face trial and charges. This is something that somebody obviously didn't think. And they think, oh, no one's going to get caught. Like, it's going to be so easy to just get around this. But, eventually things come out of the wash. And the other interesting thing is that 2 of the suspects are from New York City and California and are believed to have made short trips to Buffalo for the drone flights. And so very interesting, what was found and how they did this. But we're just going to have to see. I mean, maybe there's going to be new drone rules. Who knows? But I can tell you something. They're definitely going to get into some big hot water. All right. So if you own a car and it's keyless, I know I have one. So how can you protect your keyless car from getting stolen? So what this is, it's a smart key, and you don't have to start your car by putting the key in. It can just be in your pocket. You get into your car and you press the button and it starts. Or you can even start your car from your app. I know my new car has the feature. But how do you prevent these bad actors from doing this? I mean, I think this is a major, major problem. So one thing you do is make sure your car is properly and completely locked. When I leave my car each time, I set it so it has a walk-away lock feature that as soon as I get within, I think, about a foot away from my car, it automatically locks and the mirrors fold. So that's one good thing. Store your keys in a secure location at your home. Most people tend to put their keys right next to their front door or by a window. And guess what? The bad actor can just scan those with a cheap little device they bought on Amazon. And next thing you know, they're getting into your car. I also want to share something else. If you keep your car in a garage, which a lot of people do, they have had cases where people are stealing cars from garages. Well, what some people do is they leave their smart keys in their car. Well, how does the car get stolen, John? It has a door opener. Well, there's something called rolling codes. So when did rolling code door openers hit the market? So that's a great question. Rolling code technology has been around for a while. It's a method used in keyless entry systems for your garage. And so what a rolling code does is, so a typical garage door opener, you would set the dip switches. There's usually like anywhere from 6 to 12 dip switches, and you'd set those dip switches. Then you have to match the dip switches on your opener. And then all the openers have to match that. Once I know that code, I can easily get one of those devices, put the code in, and bam, I can be in. And you're talking about a device that's maybe only $10 or $10 to $20. And so what a rolling code opener does is it uses an algorithm that generates a new code out of billions of codes each time you use a remote. The algorithm is based on a secret key that is shared between the remote and the opener only. So when you pair, like let's say you get a brand new car, the first thing you need to do, first when you get your opener, you press the learn button on the back of your opener, and then you have like 60 seconds to press the button on your button, and it will learn the code, the shared code, but not the rolling code. And so now when you press it again, it uses a code back and forth to transfer. On your car, what you do is you take your button that's in your car, and you're going to hold the home link button down till basically you'll hold the two outer buttons down on most cars for I think it's like 5 to 7 seconds. It'll erase everything. Hold the front button down until as it's bleeping. Just hold it down. Take the opener right in front of the window there. Just push it, hold it, and that light will start flashing quickly once it does the code's program. Now you need to get up on the ladder, push the learn button on your door opener, get back to your car within 1 minute, press that button, and now it's learned the code, and now you're able to open the door. The algorithm is based on a secret key. It's impossible for an attacker to predict the next code that will be generated, and this makes it very difficult for an attacker to operate your garage door and gain access to your garage, and thus prevent your car from being stolen. How do you know if you have a rolling code opener? Well, most residential openers started implementing them around 1997. LiftMaster, Chamberlain, and Craftsman door openers, rolling code technology, aka Security 2.0, was available in openers with red or orange, purple, and yellow learn buttons. Again, that's red, orange, purple, and yellow learn smart buttons. Openers with green buttons, which manufactured prior to 97, don't use rolling code technology. So Genie garage door openers rolling code technology is available in openers which don't use the deep switch technology, meaning that the opener features some type of learn or smart programming button, but it's not the same as found on LiftMaster, Chamberlain, Craftsman. So very, very easy to do. If you want to get all the devices out, resetting the codes on your door opener is easy. Typically, you can hold that learn button in. It depends on the opener. You'll typically hold it in for 5 or 10 seconds, and then a light sequence will happen. When that happens, you let go, and all your codes are deleted. So again, I think it's important to know that, but how else can we protect ourselves from cars being stolen? So again, we said to park your car in a garage. Definitely don't put the keys in the car. Don't keep your keys by a window. You can also, use advanced technologies, such as some cars have the ability to turn off your remote key. Maybe you're going on vacation and you could turn it off. Again, these are just things you can do. But if you have a rolling opener, nobody's really going to steal your car if it's in the garage. You can also resort to buying a wheel lock that you put over the steering wheel. Pretty easy. It deters thefts. You can install a secondary car alarm in your car for extra protection. There are alarms ready, but some aftermarket alarms will even notify you on your phone if something happened to your car. You can use a GPS tracking device to track the location of your car in case it does get stolen. And of course, you can use footage from local closed-circuit TV cameras or IP cameras. Make sure you update your car's software. That is very, very important. And, when they steal a car, they don't steal one. They typically steal a whole bunch. And so when you go somewhere, make sure your car is locked. This is very, very important. And be alert and aware of things. If you are, the chances of your car getting stolen is going to be a lot less likely, everyone. And so another important point is Vermont leads in the data privacy world. Yes, Vermont leads in data privacy. This is a real big kudos I want to share. It's something that I think a lot of people didn't expect. And I really got to tip off my hat to Vermont because I think this is an amazing thing that they're part of. And so the Vermont lawmakers basically defied the national trends by passing the toughest yet state bill protecting online data privacy. And they did it by using a new tactic designed to get around industry pressure. The bill lets Vermont residents sue companies directly for collecting or sharing sensitive data without their consent. As they drafted and finalized it, lawmakers deployed a countermeasure against business pushback. They brought together lawmakers in states from Maine to Oklahoma who had fought their own battles with the tech industry and asked them for advice. Quote, the biggest thing I have learned from this entire bill is that the big tech has a playbook, said Rep. Monica Priestley, and the Democratic state lawmaker who called the hearing and said she hoped to create a grassroots playbook to fight back, close quote. So the Vermont story is rare but powerful, and hopefully more states will get on board. But kudos, ladies and gentlemen, to Vermont for really stepping up to the plate and doing something to protect their citizens. Benance is in trouble. Yes, Benance. Benance is in trouble. Who is Benance? Well, Benance is basically they're a crypto company. And why are they in so much trouble? Well, in the crypto world, they have been looming for a while. In the past years, Changpeng Zhao, better known as CZ, and a company founded in 2017, Binance. Not only is Binance the world's biggest crypto exchange, it is in the order of magnitude larger than its rivals. And up until recently, Binance boosted nearly 60% of the market share for crypto spot trading, even as that share has wanted to close closer to 40% since the U.S. regulators amped up pressure on the company starting in June. No other exchange even came close, and the OKX second market in share at 5.44, and the U.S. exchange Coinbase is at a third at 5.3%, according to the crypto news desk, CoinDesk. So, yes, Beyonce is in trouble with a very big place, and this is a big problem, and now faces trial. So the big issue is Benance's money laundering trial. It's up in Nigeria, and it was now pushed to June 20th due to executive's illness. Binance is head of financial crimes compliance. Tigran Gambaryan is seriously ill, and that's why they're changing it. So a Nigerian court just recently adjourned the money laundering trial against the Binance and two of its executives to June 20th, as one of the executives, as I said, was ill. And a family spokesperson for the executives had recently told CoinDesk. So Tigran Gambaryan, a U.S. citizen and Binance's head of financial crimes compliance, was charged with both tax evasion and money laundering, along with his employer, Gambaryan, very ill and requires comprehensive medical attention. Gambaryan broke down recently, and the medical facility gave him intravenous treatment for malaria. And this is according to his lawyer. So Gambaryan, who turned 40 in prison last week, was moved to Kaju prison, which houses members of the Boko Haram terrorist group after being detained by the Nigerian authorities in February. Quote unquote, yesterday, despite numerous signs of severe illness, my husband was still required to appear in court, where he later collapsed. Gambrian's wife, Yuki Gambrian, said in the statement seen by the CoinDesk, the conditions in the notorious Kuji prison are, in a word, devastating. My husband is a strong, healthy person, but he is facing an environment that would bring even the strongest among us to our knees. So this is an issue. But I got to tell you, if he's done something wrong, he's got to pay for it. I don't think he should be treated badly in prison. But I do feel that he's been like this big magic bullet everybody thinks they should ride. So I think once they make an example of him, definitely going to have some repercussions. And hopefully people are going to change their vibe about believing in him and supporting that company. But I got to tell you, they can't, let's say, reoperate again until they pay the fines back. Which happened in India, but now they've got problems in Nigeria, and they're going to have problems all over the place. So I think they just got to nip this in the bud because they're just going to keep getting states and countries coming after them left and right because everyone's getting tired, and we got to set an example. We all got to come together, and we got to do something about this so this can all be one massive class action lawsuit. And Tesla Cybertruck's lubricant debacle, lesson in product scrutiny and transparency, yes, is up. So the question everyone has is what happened? Well, people put the pedal to the metal and it stuck to the floor. This is what Tesla says because they used the wrong fluid. So why did Tesla use the wrong lubricant in their trucks? I mean, that's really my question. Why? It was an unapproved lubricant, and it messed up the connections between the pedal and the pads in the Cybertruck. Sounds like it's a big problem. But this question it still doesn't answer is why? I think it's a problem. They messed up, but they're not really saying why they messed up. The soapy residue made the accelerator pedal prone to sticking, increasing the chance of collision. This is according to the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration had told Tesla, and they must recall 3,878 Cybertrucks to fix the problem. So far, no accidents or injuries have been connected to the issue yet, but I think they better do something or there could be a big problem. I see a lot of lawsuits there. All right, guys, so there is a debacle about the return to office debate. Yes, there is a big debacle about the return to office debate. I was talking with a friend of mine at an event, and the thing that's interesting is I was telling him that, we gave our workers a long time. We were giving them till June last year. And it's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because, everybody's trying to fight because they want to stay from home. Goldman Sachs wants employees in 5 days a week now. Google is factoring employees in office attendance into their performance reviews, and a whopping 90% of companies plan to implement return to office policies by the end of 2024. So only 2% of business leaders said their companies never plan to require employees to work in person. Why return to the office if we can just work from 9 to 5 at home? We all know that people are not working from home all the time. And I'm not saying it's everybody, but let's face it, it is quite a large amount of people that are having, this trend and having this issue. So I don't know, guys. I have a big concern about this. But just to let you know, tech firms including Microsoft, Apple, and SpaceX are losing senior staff over returning to office mandates. And this is according to a big study. 63% of workers would rather take a pay cut than be forced to work from the office. 5% of the senior executives have already dropped out. Oh, guys, this is just, I look at this as an excuse for people not wanting to work. And ladies and gentlemen, have always loved ASUS, but ASUS really screwed up. Yes, ASUS issues a big apology. So what the heck exactly went on with ASUS, and why did this occur? ASUS issues the apology, promises changes after the return merchandise authorization and repair cost outage that they had. ASUS, basically had a big issue. The Taiwanese gaming giant experiencing a public relations black eye after its RMA process was highlighted by YouTube channel Gamers Nexus, leading to customers sharing stories of their own bad experiences. And now ASUS has issued a public apology for the confusion and frustration. It was not too long ago when Gamers Nexus published a video titled "ASUS Scammed Us." Host Stephen Burke explains how the channel had returned an ASUS ROG Ally handheld bought to review to ASUS so it could repair a thumbstick problem under warranty. ASUS, however, rejected the claim because of what it called a damaged chassis, a dent so small that a microscope was required to see it. There was also mention of liquid damage, something Gamers Nexus said came out of nowhere, and faulty connectors, which the Gamer Nexus knew nothing about. ASUS said it required $191 to fix the damage, ignoring the joystick problem that it was sent in for, and even suggested that not paying the money could lead to the Ally being sent back, their product disassembled. The video resulted in similar bad experiences with ASUS RMA being shared online. One Redditor said he purchased a $2,799 Asus RTX 4090 in April that worked perfectly, but the safety plastic indent got scratched off. It was sent to ASUS RMA for repair, which the company said it would do for $3,758. ASUS generously said it would take 30% off this price after the customer queried the amount. After complaining, ASUS then claimed the damage was not under warranty and the whole card must be replaced. This really gave them some bad press. ASUS issued a statement on the matter. It calls the problem some gap in our RMA communication process, which Gamers Nexus and others likely had to object to. Another quote, "We want to assure our customers that any repairs covered under the manufacturer's limited warranty have always been and will continue to be free of charge. It is never the intent of ASUS to charge any customers a fee that does not directly address the device malfunctions they are experiencing." The statement adds some other things. "We now recognize that the current process and the language used does not adequately convey this information. We're working diligently to make changes in the best interest of our customers." ASUS does say in the statement that it's making changes to its RMA process, including revising the repair pricing structure for out-of-warranty products, including a review of process for abnormal pricing. Furthermore, the company will no longer automatically offer repair quotations for cosmetic imperfections unless they affect the device's functionality or are specifically asked for by the customer. So it's almost a year ago when ASUS faced criticism for refusing to honor warranties for its AM5 motherboards that are failing due to poorly tested BIOS releases. And this pushed processors to unstable voltages and led to several high-profile YouTube channels announcing that they were pausing their ASUS sponsorships. Redditors seem unconvinced that much is going to change with ASUS's RMA process this time around, especially as little came from its last warranty scandal. We'll have to see what's going to happen. I've always liked ASUS, but the problem is these companies just don't seem to be consistent. That's the big problem. Ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am by now. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and this is our last episode. Well, actually, no, we have one more episode for May. We will be here one more week. I forgot we have the 31st, so we have one more before we hit into June. But we have lots more to share with you. Believe me, Achieve.com. Scan the QR code. Check out all my great information, and check out these reels every day. And then at the end of the week, I give you more of the details. So you can catch any of these great stories again by, rewatching the plays. Thank you so much for being here with me. It has been a privilege, pleasure, and honor. Be sure to check out, of course, my other great shows. Also check out Inspirations for Your Life, which now has close to 175,000 people that are watching our show. So thank you so much for your support. And I will catch you guys real soon, all right? I want to thank you so much for watching me. Thank you for supporting me. And look forward to another show real soon. But I hope you guys have a very happy, healthy, safe, wonderful, relaxing Memorial Day with you, your friends, and family.